about the orphans. You have Oliver Twist, Charles Dickens is writing about orphans. You've got I mean, Heidi was a book from Germany about an it's and then of course later on in the 20th century you have Little Orphan Annie. It is all about these kids, these orphans, and they're working in these workhouses, and they blame it on the Victorian age. So the controllers say, well, in the Victorian age, people got so conservative that if a woman got pregnant out of wedlock, she would give her baby up, and that's why, so that she could get married and be in good standing in society. And so that's why all of a sudden you have all these orphans. Well, I call bullshit on that, because logically, how can not that many, I mean, some women were, I get that, but not many. Not, it's not to have that many kids. That means that like every woman had to get knocked up 4 or 5 times. Having a litter. There were so many orphans, so many, and none of them knew like anything about their place of origin. They were working in these workhouses. They were putting them. That's what the child strike of 1899 was. They were working in the factories. They were working at the butcheries. They were the newsies, you know, extra, read all about it. That's from the children, the 8-year-old, 9-year-old children that were out hawking newspapers for a living. So they were repopulating.
Like the Frogmore, the St. Helena Island, like Beaufort, South Carolina area. I put a little thing on my channel a while back about these 3 little immigrant girls that I am pretty sure were orphans, that were the oyster shuckers. And they were talking about how they were the, they were just like 9, 10, and 11, like just little girls, and they were the oyster shuckers. That oyster company is still in business today, down there around like Dubusky, St. Helena Island.
Dubusky, that's an island I would like to dive into, because
also, like, I think it connects somehow with, I've been researching into Pensacola, Florida. Because when I was doing all like the blue this, blue that, I was like, Blue Angels. They fly over the beach when you're down there. The Blue Angels, that's down there. What are the Blue Angels? Were they like the fallen angels? I mean, like, I don't know. Like what? And then that's Pensacola, where a lot of the first settlers came.
Well, that's near New Orleans, which is where I believe Alexandria, Egypt was. So that's very
Newgate. I read something where it was connected like through the, I can't pronounce the name, the Huguenots
were Protestants. Yeah, they were Protestant. So, and that goes into like the Cajun people, which the Cajun people of Louisiana, they were apparently came down from Canada, but shit's not adding up, because you guys, like, it's just not adding up. So, but the people from Canada that were French, they were coming from France during the War of Religions, but then the war between the English and the French popped them out and brought them back down to Louisiana. But I'm calling bullshit, because I think Canada is the real France because of the Tartarian maps. So I think these Cajun people down in Louisiana are actually descendants of the real France, and for some reason they got disheveled and placed down in Louisiana, because Louisiana still to this day, I mean, you still see French signs. Like, it wasn't that long ago that the government made it illegal for them to speak French in schools in Louisiana. French was such a prominent language for the settlement. But New Orleans also has heavy Spanish, because the Spanish owned it for a while. It's just you know, in my mind, because history was one of my greatest subjects, I always excelled in history, and I was so fascinated by it that I never really had to study, because I just remembered it. And everything makes sense in a certain pattern. But then when you look at the Tartarian stuff, it just blows it out of the water. Like, all of a sudden, what we've been taught is just not adding up anymore.
Out of the water. The only note that I have down here with me is that there was an anthropologist, Mark S. Miller, who found that there were a former race that were blue, a 5th race that dwelled on an unknown continent in the middle of the ocean between Asia and Europe, had to have been Mu. This race was called the Blue Movians.
So a continent that lives between Asia and Europe, what's that?
Here.